side, so please give them a warm welcome.
Genetic engineering is used in both agriculture and medicine. Scientists aim to modify animals by shuffling or adding in genes. The science can be used to create more beneficial crops, larger animals and fish, and life-saving medicines. Scientists have even produced an edible vaccine where the medicine is injected into the crop and the consumer becomes vaccinated. Though genetic engineering is an ongoing innovation that is still being improved upon, it has saved many already. From Mendel to those involved in the Human Genome Project, scientists have worked directly as well as indirectly to modify animals through genetic engineering.
Genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, are used in most of the world's food supply. Terrell Edwards stated that 70% of prepackaged food in a grocery store setting contains genetically modified food. This is bad because people do not know what goes into these foods, and that people test on these animals and engineer them just so that they can make more money. These are genetically modified chickens that grow no feathers so that it takes a step out of the process when they're being slaughtered.
Genetic engineering is very prominent in agriculture. There are many malnourished people in areas where rice is a dominant source of food that lacks vitamin A and iron. Scientists have genetically altered rice to produce more vitamin A and iron and have called this rice golden rice. Golden rice has been implemented into many different farming societies in these malnourished areas, and people have experienced an uptake in their quality of life. Another example of agriculture with genetic engineering is the edible vaccine. Places in Africa, like Ethiopia, where hepatitis B is a quickly growing problem, scientists have genetically altered the banana seed to grow into a tree that produces bananas with the genetically altered hepatitis B vaccine within them. This is an inexpensive way to save many lives. Genetic engineering in agriculture can save lives and the quality of lives.
Gene pollution is when something goes wrong in the crossbreeding of species, and it is irreversible and can create many problems with the animal, as making the host sterile or giving it many genetic issues and deformities as shown. The Grace Foundation, which is a foundation against animal testing and genetic engineering in animals, states that scientists don't know if the forced insertion of one gene could destabilize the whole organism.
As population increases, food sources decrease. By adding in or shuffling an animal's genes, scientists can modify and improve it. Farmers can now grow genetically engineered salmon up to 2 to 4 times faster than the original species. Pigs are being modified to where they have more meat and do not need as much feed. Finally, cows can be modified by adding in a recombinant growth hormone synthesized from genetically engineered bacteria that keeps their milk-producing cells alive longer. This increases milk yields and is legal in the United States. Up to 40% of our dairy products use this type of milk. All of these are done by adding in one or more growth hormone that do not harm the animal and do not affect the human consumer.
Animal testing is an unnatural process that occurs way too much. In 2009, the Food and Drug Industry did a final notice on the regulation of engineered animals. This rabbit is one example on how the animals were treated. In fact, over 100 million animals a year in the U.S. are killed during lab experiments, medical training, and also other experiments. These animals are often held in cells or boxes for long periods of time, cut off from the outside world, often unable to survive in their natural habitat. These animals are, often before their deaths, they are forced to inhale gases. They have holes drilled into them, or their skin is. These animals are treated like nothing more than disposable laboratory equipment.
Genetically engineered animals that produce pharmaceuticals provide natural production systems for proteins that would otherwise only be capable of being obtained via human corpses or animal carcasses. This helps us to be able to get needed medicines faster than waiting for the natural process to occur. Scientists have used genetic engineering with the production of growth systems used to treat metabolic diseases and cancer. Another illustration of this engineering is insulin being extracted from bacteria. Insulin was originally obtained from slaughtered cows and pigs, but can now be grown in the bacteria E. coli. For instance, scientists can alter a goat's genes to have them produce a pharmaceutical in their milk. The first thing they do is they find all of the required genes and they combine them. They then insert this new strain into an animal cell, eventually producing the first GE goat. Offspring then occur, and the pharmaceutical is extracted from the offspring's milk.
Genetic engineering is another major concern because of health problems in humans. As seen here, this is a 6-year-old boy from Florida that ate a genetically modified peanut and has severe allergic reactions. The European Union has stated that allergies are a major possibility in people who consume genetically modified foods. Allergies are a major concern because of the deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA, that is inserted into new food components. But genetic engineering doesn't just affect the food you eat, but the medicine that you use. The Institute for Responsible Technology stated that 37 people have died from taking the amino acid L-tryptophan, and 1,500 others have been crippled, possibly for life. These health concerns are a major issue that needs to be dealt with.
Most everything is genetically engineered. From the food we eat to the medicine we use, genetic engineering has greatly improved the quality of our lives. Changing genes and altering DNA has been a very controversial issue, but has been proven to be very beneficial. Genetically engineering crops can save lives. Genetically enhancing fish can produce more food. Genetically enhancing animals can produce pharmaceuticals. An example of this is crops such as cotton. 88% of all cotton is genetically engineered in some sort of way, either to resist pests or to grow and have higher crop yields per acre. So that means the genes that you wear every day are most likely genetically engineered.
In conclusion, genetic engineering has several major issues, such as gene pollution and environment pollution, animal testing issues, and human health problems. These issues are all very concerning and need to be taken in consideration when dealing with genetic engineering. And they should be addressed before genetic engineering can be even considered a possibility of today's world.
There was a comment about genetic engineering on animals. That was the first time, right? Is it illegal in other countries? Oh, that's your question. Is it illegal in other countries to use genetic engineering on animals? Actually, either side of the Are there other countries where it's illegal to use genetic engineering on animals?
I think it's only a few other countries that don't allow it, but I'm not really sure.
I did research on it, and there are a few countries that, well, most countries, like in Europe, there's bans on certain types of genetic engineering, but there's still research going on.
Very good.